it's live yet. Hold on.
Wait. Oh, you didn't do the screen.
Hello, Trojan fans. Welcome back to another Tunnel Vision podcast. I'm India Otto. We've got Ryan Abraham and Connor Morrissette here. We've got another exciting show for you guys today. We're discussing the Trojans depth chart and previewing the Missouri State Bears, USC's home opener in, 2 days now? Saturday? It's coming up, guys.
Yeah, we had week 0 last weekend, and now we got week 1 games on. India walked in the studio and was like, wait, is that real football on TV? Yeah, we got Nebraska 3-3 against Cincinnati right now. It's Thursday night, live on Tunnel Vision. We appreciate everyone joining us. We're back, our regular Tunnel Vision show. We do Thursday nights previewing USC's opponent, and then Sunday nights recapping the game. India's going to help us out on Thursday, and we'll have Riley Sager back helping out on Sundays, and Connor and I will be here. Maybe some mishmash depending on what's going on. But Connor's here, India's here, and you guys are all here. We're live on YouTube, and we're live on Facebook, so we'll be monitoring your questions and comments. You can put questions or comments or whatever into the chat, and India can pull them up on the screen. We are also going to take live callers. The number is 512-4-TUNNEL. It's down on the screen, I think over here.
Yep.
Yeah, down over
You nailed
there.
it.
Look at boom. 512-4-TUNNEL if you're watching us. And this will be available for a podcast later, but this is mostly a video show. It's our regular live video show that we do Thursday nights and Sunday nights. And we're excited to be back here and get everyone in there. Are you excited, Connor? We're here.
The season's here. I'm really excited. 4:30 kickoff against Missouri State. This game doesn't project to necessarily be that close. USC is the 35.5-point favorite, but it's just nice to have an opponent in the Coliseum, and I know that a lot of fans are just excited to be back. I'm excited to be back. It's a little bit different than opening up the season with LSU, of course, but this should just be a great occasion because USC football is back. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's great. We get to talk about actual football. Little different this year. Last year, if you remember at this time, we were talking about going to Vegas and playing LSU.
Yep.
Missouri State's a little bit different. We'll get into the preview of all of that, but I think first, some of the big news that dropped yesterday was the USC depth chart. We got the official depth chart from USC. I think Keely was the one that kind of tweeted it out. Shout out to Keely. R.I.P. Keely. No, she's still around, obviously. We love Keely. She was in this, these in India's chair many, many times over the years. But the depth chart was interesting. Typically, we'd get a lot of ors, so it would be kind of a wishy-washy depth chart, like this person or that. There wasn't a lot of that. So not a lot of ors. We thought, nickel would be more of the base defense, but they instead came out with 4 defensive backs and 3 linebackers, so they didn't have a nickel depth chart released. But, part of it being USC's projected top 2 nickels are likely out for this game, so that might be part of the reason why. But so I thought that was interesting. Defensive line, maybe more returning players as opposed to some of the veterans that were brought in, and a true freshman getting the nod at the wide receiver spot, the number 3 wide receiver spot. So I don't know where you want to go with that. I was kind of give you a little quick overcap. I don't know, steal your thunder or anything, but that's kind of a quick overview of my overall thoughts on the depth chart. I don't know if you want to share yours.
No thunder stealing at all. I think you nailed a lot of what people are talking about. My big takeaway, at first, you see some of the transfers who came in and they're not necessarily starting, and that might make an alarm bell go off in your head like, hey, wait, I thought we got the number 1 nose tackle in the country in Keyshawn Silver, and he's not a starter. He's been banged up a little bit. I was surprised to see him not starting. But what has Lincoln Riley said this whole year? We want to be a developmental program. We want to develop guys. And when I look at this depth chart, yes, there are some injuries to some transfers that affect things, but like the guys who they've observed in high school, recruited out of high school, that's who won a lot of these jobs. I mean, Tanook Hines, I don't know how much development you can do in one camp, but like that's a guy that they said, hey, we really like what you can do, and hey, he's starting. And then the offensive line, there were some transfers who John Ray Reed lose out to Killian O'Connor. That's a guy who's been developed in this system. You look at on defense in the middle of that line, Jade Abasiri, a guy who flipped very late to USC and is a sophomore, a guy who they're really high on. Another development guy, Devin Tompkins, he's probably the headliner when you're talking about development for USC. So there are some transfer starters. The will linebacker position, it could be Tamir Robinson, DJ Harvey, Bishop Fitzgerald are starting, but I felt like maybe there would be more transfer guys. The fact that there isn't, my first thought was, I don't know if that's a good thing, but as I thought more about it, I think it is a good thing because this is USC developing the guys that they have, and that's the key to success. You don't want to fill in your roster with too many transfers. That means you have a bad roster to begin with. So the fact that some of these returning players won jobs, I think is really significant and bodes well for the development that Lincoln Riley's talked a lot about.
Do you think that was strategic at all? Because I saw Jordan Moore tweeted that out. He kind of quote tweeted Keeley about there was an emphasis not on the transfers coming in. Now, we know on the defensive line, like all those guys are going to play. They're probably going to rotate some corners and stuff. At wide receiver, you're going to see a bunch of different dudes play. But do you feel like that's maybe strategic? Like, hey, we are trying to emphasize on homegrown or returning talent a little bit. And, we know depth charts don't necessarily mean much. We've seen depth charts where a guy's starting, we get on the game day, and then he doesn't even play. So we take it with a grain of salt. But do you think there's any strategy there?
Absolutely. And I do think the first depth chart is significant. You're right, though. We see guys not play necessarily. The second, if they're like when they update it, that doesn't really make a big difference with a lot of stuff. But yeah, I do think there's a little strategy because Lincoln Riley wants to be that developmental coach. He wants to have that developmental program that he's talked so much about. But I also kind of buy into the fact that I think his words are matching his actions. And again, I go back to the middle of that defensive line. No one thought Jade Abasiri was going to be a starter. We thought it was Devin Tompkins and Keyshawn Silver for sure. The fact that Silver isn't starting, again, that might make some people kind of question what USC's doing. But I think Jade Abasiri's just been more consistent during camp, and he's a guy that USC's developed. He is built like a truck. I don't have any questions about his body. He's not undersized or anything like that. And he just came out and won the job, kind of like Killian O'Connor at the center spot. So this coaching staff is a really good coaching staff. Let's let them develop the guys that they have, and let's see the fruits of their labor. And that's, to me, a big takeaway with this depth chart. The guys who have been around are going to play. And if you love the coaching staff, which I think we all feel good about it, that has to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah.
We got a little break in the action. We have a little super chat here.
Thanks.
Let me pull it up. M1, driving from Minnesota to
Champaign.
to see to Champaign to see the Trojans. Hopefully they don't upset me like when they played the Gophers. Still mad about it.
Yeah,
Thank you, M1.
So that'll be Game 5.
Game 5, yeah. The USC
Hopefully
on the road.
USC's 4-0.
Should be at that point. Yeah, that's thanks M1 for the super chat. We appreciate that. And Connor did a great job while he was going off about the defensive line. I had to sneak over and show India what to do on that one. So that was good. So you're doing great. Like she's just
thank you.
Really,
Thank you.
her training was
Adapting.
about 5 minutes to run this.
Well, someone had a fantasy football team, so.
And I had a fantasy football draft before this. No, but she's done a couple of these before. I crushed my fantasy football draft, by the way. So let's go. Boom. Connor was here helping me out.
Ryan,
I got Jordan Addison, even though he's suspended.
tell everybody who your number one pick was.
I had Gibbs. Yeah, I had the 5th pick and ended up getting Gibbs. And Connor was like, some people had him, number 1 overall. So
Yeah,
I think it was a good one. So I got Kittle. He's number 1 tight end. Yeah, it should be good. Drake London, USC Trojan.
There you go.
And he's going to
and
lead
Jordan
the
Addison.
team out
Yeah,
on
he's-
Saturday.
He is leading the team out on Saturday, yeah. So that's some breaking news there, but that's pretty cool. But thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that.
Should we get into just some of the surprises, just some of the position stuff, like some recognition to some guys? I think the big takeaway, Tanook Hines is the true freshman who won the wide receiver 3 job, and he kind of came on stronger towards the end of camp. He was a name we didn't hear a ton about at the beginning of camp. We know all about his speed. We know all about his reputation as a really productive high school receiver out of Texas. The fact that he won that job really stands out to me because that one kind of came out of left field. I don't think anyone was expecting him to do that, and then boom, he does it. So I think he's probably the top of my list in terms of guys I'm excited to watch on Saturday because that's probably the biggest surprise on this depth chart.
Yeah, speedster. You know, it's funny. You talk about karma. I don't know if you know about this, India, and like being from the athletic world side of things. I did some good interviews over there on the islands in Hawaii for the Polynesian Bowl. Alex Graham, boom, he was projected to start at true freshman.
If he's not hurt, he is.
Yeah, started at nickel, and then Tanook Hines, interviewed him. He was over there. He's starting at wide receiver. So I don't know. I'm just saying. You get a little karma from the islands in my. I don't do a lot of recruiting anymore. Gerard actually texted me to do a game tomorrow. I'm like, I don't know about that. I might do a game tomorrow, but we'll see. But I do go to Hawaii because it's Hawaii, and I interviewed those two guys back in January, and both impressive young men, look good in the practices, and pretty impressive that they both could have been starting on Saturday. So that's just a little.
Yeah, no, it's the Ryan Abraham magic.
No, I'm just it's not about me. I'm just.
On the flip side, I don't love Prince Strawn being the third guy.
Yeah, I thought he would be the the third starter. Like I thought he'd be up there.
Me too. He was kind of the leader in the clubhouse. I thought Xavier Jordan might be, and Zacharias Williams had a chance as well, but it's Tanook Hines. Strawn, I kind of thought he had one. When we watched one practice, I thought he had a nice practice, and then I didn't really see much from him the rest that we were able to watch. But clearly, we didn't see Tanook Hines being a starter, so it's not like we can see everything. But yeah, that's kind of you talk up the guys who you're excited about. I know a lot of fans are excited about Strawn. I'm sure we'll see him on Saturday. But the fact that he starts as a third string guy, that was a surprise to me. I kind of felt like they had higher hopes for him.
Yeah,
it's not about where you start; it's about where you fit.
And and it's one of those positions where I think last year you just weren't sure when you had like 5 potential number 1 guys. Now you got your 2 alphas, and then it's kind of like if you had a litter of puppies and the 2, there's like a lot of runts potentially out there. Like which ones are going to have the opportunity to get in there on those teats and get go crazy. So you have Makai Levin.
Not a runt.
No, not a runt. He's getting his full share. You have Jacoby Lane, and then there's a lot of opportunities for these other guys. And it's great that Tanook Hines is going to get the start per se, but if he misses a block or he doesn't run the right route and drops a ball, like this is not some set in stone thing. I think you're going to see a lot of guys getting opportunities, and if the 5th guy off the bench comes in and he's sealed off the edge, and you see, Wayman Jordan go on a big run because of his block, and he caught a tough ball on 3rd down in traffic. It's like, boom, he's now like your number 3 guy. So I don't think for this there's going to be that big of a deal. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for these running backs. I mean, for these wide receivers. But yeah, a little surprising there. But we'll see. I mean, I still like Prince Strawn. Maybe he gets a red zone target or something. We'll see how it ends up working out. But I feel and I asked Lincoln Riley about this at Big Ten Media Day, and there was something to be said for knowing here's your 2 stud guys, and then you kind of fill in the blanks after that, as opposed to, is he number 1 or is he number 1 or is he number 1? It just didn't make a lot of sense. And then guys you thought were going to be studs, they weren't really playing like it, and then maybe they were taking reps away from somebody else. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm really curious to see what a lot of those guys do, because everywhere they've gone to camp, it seems like they're getting rave reviews. So, a lot of cool things about college football this weekend, but seeing where some of the former Trojans ended up and how they perform is one thing, and then obviously how USC performs on Saturday is the big one.
Yeah, we'll see what Tanook Hines looks like as a depth guy and what Strawn looks like as a depth guy as well. Hines right now, the leader in the clubhouse there. DJ Jordan being 3rd string stood out to me too. He felt like early in camp that was someone that they were really trying to I don't want to say force feed, but really give an opportunity to put him in the mix. We heard his name early. He was kind of the opposite of Tanook Hines. It just seems like Tanook Hines just kind of beat him out, where we were hearing a lot about Jordan early, and then that kind of fell off. So he has some ground to make up.
That's interesting, because I feel it was sort of being like I don't know if it's force fed, but that was like a narrative. And when I'd watched it, it wasn't popping out to me. I wasn't like, oh yeah. I think maybe one of the open practices we watched, he might have had some, hands issues or something. And we didn't get to watch a lot. So it's, you can, for one or two practices, you can't really make sweeping decisions and stuff. But I never I never caught on to this, wow, he's going to be like the number 3 guy. But I know that was something that was being pushed around a little bit out there. And so I think that's a little less surprising than the Prince Drum, but it did feel like that was a narrative at some point.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. We've talked a lot about the offensive line, so we don't have to get into that. But
we didn't on this show, but just some people that kind of came out earlier, and we talked about it on the podcast and stuff. But if you want to just kind of recap it real quick.
Yeah, Elijah Page, left tackle, Tobias Raymond, left guard, Killian O'Connor, center, Alani Noah, right guard, Justin Tawanu'u, right tackle. I've made my thoughts on this line clear that I think they could be good, but a little concerning when USC tried to upgrade at center and they didn't ultimately tried to upgrade at left guard and Wingfield. Of course, that one was out of their hands, is ineligible, but the fact that everyone on the line is a returner from last year and USC tried to make some upgrades that didn't work out, the logical conclusion is, well, they wanted to make changes and they weren't able to. So against Missouri State, I don't think it'll be an issue, but I'm certainly going to watch them closely. That's a unit that's new with 3 new starters, so definitely something to pay attention to on Saturday, but I don't really expect them to be tested all that much. Quarterback, Jaden Mayava, Hassan Longstreet wins the backup job. That was expected. And then running back, expected list there. Wayman Jordan, starter. Eli Sanders, number 2. Brian Jackson, number 3. And we might even see some King Miller, the walk-on, the 4th-string guy. Lincoln Riley said Monday that King Miller leads practice in yards per carry. So he's having a really good camp. He's out of Calabasas. So expect to see a lot of those guys, but not too many surprises on the bottom half of that depth chart. It was just more the wide receiver spots. Tanook Hines kind of stole the show there.
Yeah, for sure. I was looking on our Facebook feed. So, India, are Facebook questions or comments coming through? Do we get some Facebook ones too?
Yeah, we've got a couple
Oh,
questions.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're live on Facebook, thank you for doing that. I know Matt Brown said, "Is it weird we have a freshman at wide receiver number 3? We didn't have anyone coming up." Not sure what he means by that, but yeah, I mean it's a little bit strange. And
Like any other guys besides Lemon and Lean.
yeah, I mean I think that's where it's sort of like you got those 2 guys, and then it's a free for all after that. But just want to say thanks if you're watching on Facebook and you're watching on YouTube. India will be monitoring your comments and questions and stuff. If you do have a question, you can say question. She'll start, and we'll get to it later on in the show. And we will be taking live calls if you want to call in, 5124-TUNNEL. You can do that. Also, real quick, today is actually, if you want to go over to uscfootball.com, it's our free day. So if you're not a VIP member, you can go over there and access all of the VIP content for free. Read the Peristyle, which is the message board I started almost 30 years ago. It's the biggest one, the longest running one. We've been covering USC longer than anybody. Go check it out, and you can get all the content for free. And if you like it, you can actually sign up for a whole year for 75% off. It's like $30 or something. It's like lunch. So go check it out. You will not regret it for sure, but it's 75% off USCfootball.com. It's a free day if you want to go check it out. Anyway.
Snag that deal while you can.
Yeah,
75% off. Never heard of anything like it.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. I just posted, Shotgun posted it, but I did it earlier today. My extensive opponent preview, every single team on USC's schedule, everything that you want to know about them is out there on the internet right now. And if you're not a subscriber, you can see it today, but when USC say they travel to, or when they travel to Nebraska, and you want to know all about Nebraska, it won't be free forever. So subscribe, and you'll have this great resource all season long. Worked pretty hard on it, so I hope you can check it out.
Yeah,
Again,
good stuff, Connor. Thanks.
The game-by-game opponent deep dive preview for the season. Because I just remember last year, I'd watch what the opposing team did the week before and read and stuff, but like I felt like I didn't have a great grasp of expectations and what was going on with the opponents before the year. So now I do, and you can too. So hope you can check that out.
It's funny. One of the things that's helped me with that is I guess this is a plug too. Keeley would like to say plug when they would do like their show, but I do the podcast of Champions with David Woods, who covers UCLA, as you know, for Bruin Report Online. If you probably know him, you might not like him. You're a USC fan, that's fine. We're good friends, but we've been doing the podcast of Champions for almost 10 years now, I think. And covering the Big Ten, we used to cover the Pac-12. But just starting to do that, it helped me a lot in covering USC because I got to know Oregon State way better or Cal way better than I would have. And then when USC would play them, I knew a lot about the teams already. So it's been very helpful doing that. But even I'll jump into pieces like this that Connor will do and get some idea of what the opponents are, and it's helped a lot. And I know sometimes USC fans, you don't care. You're just like, hey, we got tunnel vision, no pun intended, for what's going on with USC. But sometimes you want to know, hey, what is going on? To watch Nebraska right now, a lot of people are talking about Nebraska potential breakout team this year. Dylan Raiola, the former 5-star quarterback, they're on TV right now playing Cincinnati 6-3. But you can read Connor's piece and a lot of detail on it. But it's helped me a lot doing the podcast with champions, and doing that research I think is great. Because it gives us we're a little more informed to tell all you guys when we do the previews and stuff. Now we're not going to be that much more informed when you're playing Missouri State, because that's you did some.
I had some Missouri State stuff.
You
thank
do,
very
yeah.
much, you're right.
Right, it's a little bit more slim pickings when it comes to that. But it's cool that at least they had a beat writer that you got able to talk to.
Yes, but he was just hired to cover Kansas State like last week, so he's not even
there anymore. Oh, yeah.
But when I talked to him, he was, so he was a great resource.
Yeah. Oh, great.
But there is, I think, another guy. It's interesting. Missouri State has 2 beat writers. Georgia Southern has 0, so interesting.
It is kind of, I think the two, with newspapers sort of falling off, those would have been the big ones, and like now it's like not super lucrative. And if it's not a big enough program to have like a website like ours covering it, you figure Georgia Southern would. There's a lot of tradition there. I think there would be.
They get no coverage. I had to reach out to their SID, and I spoke with the radio play-by-play guy because they don't have any media. I kind of felt bad.
That is so weird. So I'll let India know. Right next to her is a little book, like the college football thing. It's like you could look up Georgia Southern there, see if they have any. See if they have a beat writer.
This is what he's referring to,
yeah.
everybody.
It's the directory for the College Football Writers Association.
We'll take a look.
So they send me a book every year, and you can go check it out. Yeah.
Well, based on what their SID told me.
For Georgia Southern, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe there's someone in there. Maybe, see what their resource is.
That's funny.
TBD.
Do you want to get into some defensive depth chart stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. What do you got?
So edge rushers, Cameron Fountain, starter, Anthony Lucas, starter, Braylon Shelby, backup, and then Devin Tompkins or Garrett Pomerantz, a walk-on, listed as the backup defensive end. So not a lot of depth at that position,
No.
which isn't a huge shocker. Expect to see USC try to bring pressure with linebackers, and they're going to have Jade Abasiri sometimes line up at edge rusher, and Devin Tompkins, that they'll move the front around. They really only prioritized the 3 defensive ends. They had opportunities to add from the portal. They chose not to because they're so confident in these guys. Not really a big surprise there. That's how we saw it, where Fountain and Lucas would start, and Shelby was going to play a lot. And those guys, like every good group of edge rushers does, they're going to have a big sack competition this year. Who do you think's going to win, Ryan? You want to guess?
Who did Devin tell us he was going to get 8, or he wanted to get 8?
Braylon Shelby's goal is 8.
Oh, Braylon Shelby's goal was 8. Yeah.
Cam Fountain's probably gotten the ravest reviews out of camp, and then
Yeah.
Anthony Lucas might be the best player despite not having a sack in his career. So
Yeah.
kind of some interesting stuff.
I think
going
for
on
the
with
guys
that
we
group.
talked to, Shelby gave us like the realist answer. I'll go with Shelby. I'll go with him. We had a lot of these guys on our Tunnel Vision shows. If you guys haven't, go back on our YouTube channel. So many of the players we've been able to sit down, thanks to House of Victory, setting it up, and Jade Abasiri and Devin Tompkins, Braylon Shelby, all these guys we're talking about, we had like half-hour interviews with, and it's been awesome to talk to those guys. We just had Elijah Page on. He was awesome. We got to talk to him in Vegas too, but this was a little bit longer. And yeah, a lot of good stuff. We got Kennedy Urlacher. Actually, India and I interviewed him the week before, and that was a lot of fun when Connor was at a wedding. So we've had a whole bunch of opportunities to interview these guys, and it's been great. But all these, we talked to all these guys. If we get them some good karma, they should get after the quarterback a little bit this year.
I think Anthony Lucas is my pick. I feel guilty that none of us are picking Cam Fountain. Maybe India, if you want to go with Cam Fountain.
Cam Fountain, I'm your champion on this.
not to force her hand, but I feel like he's had such a good camp.
I'm going Fountain.
It's the least that we can do. Did my mic go out or am I back?
Let me see.
We're getting the kinks out. There we go.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
back. I
Okay,
think it's
good.
kind of cutting in and out. Hopefully that stops. The interesting thing, too, is I think as the season goes on, so they only do have the 3 primary edge rushers. Jaden Ramos is in the mix, too, but he's not on the depth chart. He's probably going to be a redshirt, the true freshman. And if the sack numbers don't quite come the way people expect, I think a second guess will be as the season goes on, hey, maybe you should have added one more guy from the portal. But, like, I kind of like that they're sticking to their guns, and I'm not going to let's not get them in trouble for something they haven't done yet. Let's see how this season plays out. But the fact that you look at the defensive end depth chart and the backup, one of them's your starting defensive tackle, and then the other's a walk-on. Like, they just don't have a lot of guys there. But to what I said earlier, I do think we'll see, like, Elijah Newby off the edge, Eric Gentry. Obviously, there's going to be some linebacker stuff that's a part of it, especially with how Danton Lynn runs things. So this is by design.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the key to the entire defense. Certainly saw a leap forward. If you just watched the defense last year, certainly had some. They did some really good things, but had some shortcomings as well. One of the shortcomings being generating tackles for loss, generating negative plays. I thought fundamentally everything seemed better. Tackling, they're much better on third down, not good on fourth down, but you feel like they've made a lot of improvements. I think from scoring went to like from 119th to somewhere in the 50s. Like, it was a big improvement as far as like the amount of points given up. Now, USC didn't score as many points, and sometimes that helps with that. But if you just watch the defense, people didn't look confused. You weren't looking at wristbands as the ball's being snapped. That was better. To get this defense to go to the next level, you have to generate those negative plays. We've talked to all the coaches about it. It's an emphasis. So this defensive line, this rotation, how that works is going to be, a big deal. Did you expect big things out of Devin Tompkins or, any of the guys that you're coming in? I think there's a lot of dudes here that have potential to break out, where before you felt like they were placeholders because, like, they thought, Anthony Lucas was going to be the guy, and then he was hurt, or Barry Alexander was going to be the guy, and it just didn't work out. Now there's bodies there, and if a guy isn't there to work out, there's players behind them that could potentially do it. So this is the guys you have to watch, because if this group is able to get after the quarterback, tackles for loss, sacks, things like that, I think it's going to help the entire defense, and I think it's going to make everything better. They improved a lot last year, but this would be, now you can take it to the next level if you're also generating big negative plays.
Totally agree with you. It looks like we might have got another super chat.
Oh,
We
did? Nice.
sure did.
Yeah.
Let's pull it up.
I'll check on, what do we got?
$10.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Sagar Patel. Sorry if I butchered your name, but thank you.
What, do you want to read it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Get yourself get yourself a bottle of water at the game and stay cool. Go USC. Keep up the good work, gents.
It might be hot.
Yeah. Record-setting numbers over here in LA. If
Yeah.
you're not here.
Cool. How's your mic there?
I think it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
I can
Yeah.
see my
If I have to get up in the middle and like play with the things, it's just messing with his mic. But
Dan, I keep going in and out. It's this dreaded headset, but I think Mark in the chat said it.
There we
sounded
go.
Okay, so
okay,
hopefully it just is okay.
I've got it here. You talk. I'm going to pull your thing real quick.
The biggest thing that Danton Lynn talked about this week was getting pressure with 4. So, while we're not going to learn a ton about USC against Missouri State, we will find out if they can get to the quarterback with 4. That's the one question that Danton Lynn wanted to get answered this week. So that'll be a big part of the edge rushers. And then in the middle, so Devin Tompkins is starting at defensive tackle along with Jade Abasiri. Keyshawn Silver is listed as the backup to Devin Tompkins, and Jakeem Stewart, who may or may not play, is listed as the backup to Jade. And then there's 3 guys listed on this position group. So Jamal Jarrett's behind Silver, and then Floyd Boucard, who's had a great camp, is behind Stewart. If all those guys are healthy, they'll all play. Silver, Jarrett, Stewart have been battling things. Stewart may not play, but expect to see some healthy rotation there, and that group just on paper looks way better than anything USC's had in the past.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm not sure. I've played with it a little bit. We'll see. I don't know.
I think it's fine.
Is it working okay? Okay. Let us know. The audio good? All right. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
everyone's saying it's good. So
Perfect.
Maybe it's on our end.
Yes, we love it.
Are you surprised at all, Ryan, that Jade beat out Keyshawn Silver? Are you reading into that? Is that something that?
I mean, it might be part of the narrative, right, where you're like, hey, this is our guy, homegrown guy. But I feel like those guys are going to come in and play. Like, you might see 4 or 5 plays and say they pick up a first down and it's 2nd and 4, and you see new guys come in. You know, like we've seen that in scrimmage. You know, where they just sort of rotate guys. I think you're going to see all those guys play. So I don't think it's a bad thing. It might be strategic, but I think Jude has really impressed a lot of people. And but I think guys like Keyshawn Silver are going to get a lot of run as well. And then, you know, someone might outperform someone else, just like with the wide receivers. But I think for the defensive line, you're just going to see a bunch of rotation stuff where they didn't have the opportunity to do it. Like, you had a Nate Clifton was playing a lot because he had to. You know, a 275-pound guy that bumped up to 295 just so you could get someone else playing in the middle. Now they got options there. So I think you can rotate, feel good about it, and have all those guys run through.
Moving to the linebackers, so no surprises with 2 of the spots. Desmond Stevens at Mike, Jaden Walker, his backup. That's what we expected. On this depth chart, Eric Gentry is playing Sam, which is the 3rd linebacker. He played a lot of that last year, but we're going to see a lot of Desmond Stevens and Eric Gentry on the field together. Like you kind of said off the top, Ryan, I don't know how much time USC will have with the 3 backers. The fact that Prophet Brown and Alex Graham are hurt right now, who were USC's 2 projected starting nickels, like that affects this depth chart, so that's why there's 3 guys listed. But Rich SC, the great poster on the Peristyle, just he talked a lot about there how like pretty much every college team throws the ball a ton now, so
Yeah.
you can't really play with the 3 linebackers too much. So that'll be something to look at. At will, Tamir Robinson or Elijah Newby are the 2 starters, and then Anthony Beavers is the backup. Beavers, we heard today, is hurt, so I wouldn't expect to see him. So Tamir Robinson and Elijah Newby will play. Newby has generated a ton of buzz. Lincoln Riley called him one of the fall camp MVPs, so I would buy stock in him. Chris and I were talking about that on Instant Analysis. He's listed as an or starter. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up making his first career start on Saturday. He's had that good of a camp, it sounds like.
All right.
We've got a major super chat
Oh, whoa.
again. $30.
Dang.
Wow.
Thank you
I feel like we're the
guys.
composite 2-star. Those
We
guys get tons of money.
Appreciate it. Only Natty at USC. Happy 30th anniversary, Ryan. I don't know how you do it, keeping things professional, managing fans from a wide variety of spectrums, but it works. You are appreciated, and your success is well deserved. Connor is GOAT.
Thanks, Only Natties.
Wow,
Yes.
Thank you.
He's one of those guys that's on the spectrum of wide ranges, so that is, it's good. No, but thanks. He came into the other show too and did a super chat. So thanks for that one. Appreciate it. And yeah, he likes your take. What we try to do. There was a whole big debate on the Peristyle too about what's going on. We're trying to tell you what we actually think about the team, and if there's concerns, we're going to say, hey, there's a concern there. If we think it's going to be great, we'll tell you it's going to be great. And sometimes fans will be upset. We're like, well, why are you saying this? I'm like, well, would you rather say, hey, this is going to be if we said this is going to be the best defensive line ever last year and they weren't, then you're like, well, you told us it was. So we're just trying to give you like what we feel from sources we talk to, from what we get to see at practice, from the interviews we do, try to give you the straight, just shoot straight with you guys. So that's what our goal is. I know some people think you're too negative, some people think you're too positive, so you're probably in the middle. But we try to be in the middle there and just tell you like what really is going on.
What do they say? The truth hurts, but lies kill. So it's all honesty over here.
I like that, India.
That's what I try. My favorite thing is when I'll say something and then people will just say, that's like when I said Alex Graham was going to be a starter, like we heard that from a coach. It's like, no, he's not.
Oh, yeah. Someone denied that Alex Graham was going to start. You're like, well, a coach said that. It's like, sometimes it happens too. It's funny. I think I told you this sort of, Connor, and maybe you get it, India, also. Like, the Peristyle's great. The message board's awesome. Just it's fun to see everyone sort of like speculate, and there's always like this, the tinfoil hat kind of thing going on, like, oh, this behind the scenes thing. And then if there's some weird conspiracy theory, and then I come on and like, oh, I talked to like the coach or the athletic director or whatever, and they said that's not true. People didn't want to hear. They didn't want to know like, oh, there's the actual truth. They just liked the theories and stuff. So sometimes they just want the theories. But yes, if a coach says, hey, Alex Graham's probably going to start because
he's doing great.
Because Prophet Brown is injured and he was doing awesome. And you're like, no, we don't want to hear that. Like, well, okay, well, that's the truth. So lies kill, right?
Yes.
Right, India?
Yes,
Exactly.
That's a nice expression. I'll remember that.
Yeah.
finishing up the depth chart. So I think the last surprise, Braylon Conley was taking a lot of reps with the ones at cornerback, and DJ Harvey was not. But on the depth chart, that's flipped, and DJ Harvey is starting alongside DeCarlos Nicholson. Conley is backing up Harvey, and Marcellus Williams is backing up Nicholson. Chasen Johnson is a little banged up, so that's why he's not on this depth chart. And then Kevin Longstreet's the third stringer. And then the safety's not a surprise at all. Kamari Ramsey, Bishop Fitzgerald get the start, and Christian Pierce and Kennedy Urlacher are behind those two. Lincoln Riley said Monday, I wouldn't trade our safety room for the world. That has the chance to be the best unit on the defense, I think. Kamari is obvious. He's so good, but like Bishop Fitzgerald is a guy who I think people should really take a look at and really be excited about. He had a great camp. He's professional. That's a guy who I think is really, really good.
Yeah, he was one of our early House of Victory interviews and was great. Transferred in from North Carolina State. Just, well put together, buttoned. Everything is just like, oh, that guy's a professional, and you feel that way. And, yeah, I think you're going to like what you get to see from him out on the field. But I do like the safety room a lot. Kennedy Urlacher coming in. We got like I said, India and I interviewed him last week. I was impressed by him. He was kind of quiet, I guess, in our media day stuff, but he opened up with us a lot, and make sure you guys go check out that interview. But I think what we heard, the coaches like him. I think Lincoln Riley called him out by name like twice. Yeah. So there's situations where like, okay, I thought he might be like a special teams contributor a little bit more, but it looks like he can be a real guy in there too. So I think, Christian Pierce is someone we've heard his name quite a bit. So the depth in that room, I think, is good. And if the nickel situation is still sketchy, you might need some of that depth to move around. You could see a Kamari Ramsey up near the line of scrimmage a little bit more. But, yeah, I think it's a really good room. And coming in, I felt like probably his defensive line was, but it depends if you're looking at tackles or ends. But just as a position, like if you just want to look at that group, safety is probably the deepest of all of them.
That's how I feel. I do think, kind of looking at it here as a whole, that room, to me, I think is the best. So
I'm going to switch you up real quick.
Very excited about that. Maybe should I
hop
on this mic? I think I'm coming in and out. It's
Here,
interesting.
talk for a second.
Okay. Special team stuff. So Sam Johnson will be the punter. Ryan Sayeri is going to be the kicker this week because Caden Chittenden is hurt. Right. So I think I sound okay, right?
Yeah.
Switch channels.
Expect to see that. And then at returner, we're expecting a heavy dose of Makai Levin. So I don't know. Maybe they will use this first game to try someone else out. But, like, when the games matter a little bit more, all due respect to Missouri State, we're going to see Makai. So I expect to see him early against Missouri State as a returner, and then maybe they'll let someone else come in if the game isn't very close. But Lincoln Riley made it very clear that he's going to be playing a lot as a returner.
Cool. Sorry, I switched up your channels there, so hopefully that was okay. There were some comments about that, but I think we should be okay now with the audio, so sorry about that. It's good that we have India here producing. I'm just doing the behind the scenes. I'm the engineer of the show,
yes.
Trying to make things
He's the GOAT.
Work. Been doing this a long time. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yes, so hopefully it works okay now. So I apologize for any brief cutouts of that. Tech Ryan there. Yes, James, thank you. That's what I do. Like, for those who don't know, like that's my background. Like I got into this, I was an electrical engineer. Like I have a master's degree in electrical engineering from USC.
Props for that.
She's even using the soundboard. Pretty impressive. Yeah, so that's why I got all this stuff in here. There's a new computer over there that wasn't working. I was on tech support earlier. Yeah. This computer is pretty old, so I'm gonna swap it out. I was trying to do it earlier today, but the monitor wouldn't work. It looked like I looked inside, and I'm gonna have to like open it up, and it's like brand new, man. Come on, what are you gonna do? But whatever. But we'll get it. Yes, I'm the tech guy. That's what we got to try to do, even though I'm old.
Do we want to talk Missouri State a little bit?
Yeah, then we should get into the previews. Again, if you have a question on either live chat, Facebook or YouTube, just put a little star. Just put the question there, and then she will put a little star, and we'll get back to it later. And you can call in and talk to us live if you want. 512-4-TUNNEL. Usually works out pretty well, but we'll try to keep it brief. if we have to, India will cut you off, or I'll cut you off, or whatever. But it's fine. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So jump in there. But yes, Missouri State. The one thing you need to know, the main thing, USC is the only college football program in the country that has never played an FCS opponent. This will be as close as USC gets to it because as of last year, this Missouri State Bears team was an FCS opponent in the Missouri Valley Conference, moved up, now in Conference USA. And the very first game as an FBS squad Missouri State will play is against USC. So I think this is as close as USC's come to playing an FCS squad. And they had scheduled UC Davis before. I think that was Pat Hayden, or maybe it was Lynn Swan that did it. And then Mike Bone came in and got rid of it. So we actually broke that in this room with Mike Bone on the show. So that was cool. But yes, way back in the day. They were going to schedule one, and Mike Bone and Brandon Saucer were like, no, we don't want to do that. So it's out. At the time, I think it was UCLA and Notre Dame, but now both of those teams have played FCS opponents. So only USC, but this one's close, I guess.
Yeah, no, that is as close as it's going to get. So that's funny that this will be their first game. And we've talked about it on prior shows. Missouri State has a quarterback who some feel has a chance to be drafted late in the NFL draft in the spring. His name is Jacob Clark. He's coming into his third year as being their starter. I think he threw 26 touchdowns and 6 picks at the FCS level last year. Missouri State had, I think, the 5th-ranked passing offense in FCS. So USC is the 35.5-point favorite. I'm not saying that this quarterback's going to come in and carve him up, but he's the guy to pay attention to. If he makes a couple nice throws and you're like, oh, what's going on? It's because he's pretty talented. How it's been explained to me, though, Ryan, is outside of him, just not a lot of guys to really write home about. There's one defensive end, DJ Wesolek, who was a pretty highly rated recruit out of California, I think, or maybe somewhere on the West Coast, and USC recruited him. He went to Missouri, I think, and then he transferred to Oregon State, and now he's at Missouri State, so he's probably the highest-ranked recruit on the roster. Clark started his career at Minnesota. Their coaches, the head coach has a defensive background. The offensive coordinator is Bobby Petrino's son. So there's some fun stuff with this team, but
yeah,
35.5-point favorites. I don't expect Missouri State to really challenge here.
Yeah, Ryan Beard is the head coach. I think his third year.
Third year as the head coach, 6th year calling the defense.
Yeah, so he's been the defensive coordinator. But Bobby Petrino was the head coach there, 3 years ago. He's now bopped around as offensive coordinator. He was at Texas A&M and Arkansas, or maybe I forget whatever. But Bobby Petrino bops around. But his daughter married Ryan Beard, who's the defensive coordinator, who's now the head coach there. So there's like this whole sort of Petrino mix of DNA and over at Missouri State. So that's kind of fun. And Petrino was a huge name in the sport, obviously, and had kind of fallen off, but has 3 different SEC OC jobs now. Where is he now? Do you remember?
Bobby Petrino, Arkansas.
Arkansas now, yeah.
They brought him back after the famous motorcycle.
Yes. So that was there was some fun stuff there. But so anyway, there's some neat kind of stories there where you dig into it. The fact that he's married to Bobby Petrino's daughter and all that stuff, it's kind of funny. But yeah, it's a huge opportunity for Missouri State to try to make a name for itself, moving up to Conference USA. We know conference realignment is such a big deal, and it's not just with the Power Four. It's like, well, what happens after that when Texas and Oklahoma leave the Big 12, or USC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington leave the Pac-12? Then you're sort of scrambling and picking up other teams from Group of 5, and then those Group of 5 conferences need to pick up teams. And it's expensive now to go from FCS to FBS, but some teams are doing it. There's a real opportunity there. A lot of programs think there's a real opportunity there. So I think we're up to 136 FBS teams now. One of the new ones this year is Missouri State. I don't think USC should have much of an issue with it, especially with maybe the deficiencies being on both lines for Missouri State. But, capable players. We've seen teams put up fights before. I watched, Rutgers and Ohio battle it out today. And I don't think these are the similar kind of situations. But, you can't take any opponent lightly. But it's a huge spread. And I think USC will have an opportunity to kind of stretch its legs a little bit, get a feel for what its roster's like, what the 2 deep that they just released is, and all that, and go out there, have some fun, and learn a little bit more about your team as you get a comfortable win.
Missouri State's coach did say we have nothing to lose, so that led some people
100%.
to say, hey, are we going to see some trick plays, or are they going to throw the kitchen sink at USC? Maybe, but I don't know how that would benefit them. They're trying to become bowl eligible. They're trying to compete in Conference USA. If you use all your trickery against USC, is that in their best interest? Maybe if it's a close game, but I don't think anyone here thinks it will be. So, yeah, the way I'm looking at it is an extension of training camp, and I know the staff at USC is looking at it the same way. So we'll see a lot of cornerbacks. We'll see a lot of defensive line rotation. We'll see a lot of wide receivers. We should see all 3 quarterbacks. It's going to be that kind of game.
All right.
Questions?
Yeah, we could do questions or anything else you want to talk about with Missouri State. I know, India, you did a lot of research. Did you find anything out about the Missouri State Bears? Or actually, was there anything in the book?
I have not seen anything in the book yet. So
Okay, Missouri State wasn't even in there?
I did not that
yeah,
I saw. So
because they were FCS last year and stuff, but sometimes you get some coverage, We'll see. Next week, even though it still won't be a great opponent, it will be much more interesting with the return of Clay Helton coming to the Coliseum. But I think this is a good opportunity for all the USC fans out there to get used to this roster, who the numbers are. Yes, are there 6 defensive linemen wearing single-digit numbers? Yes, that's a thing. Go look all that stuff up. Get a feel for what this team is. Get your tailgate situation down. 4:30 is a great tailgating kickoff time. You get that 2 weeks in a row. Should be a lot of fun. We're getting the kinks out here. It's been a while since we fired up the tunnel vision machine. We got India running the show. We're figuring it all out. You guys can figure it all out too as you watch the football team. Maybe when you're strategically going to leave your seat to go get a beer or a hot dog, whatever you got to do. I think this is the time you can tinker a little bit, figure it out, because it's a slow build-up. If everything goes correctly, you get a road win in the Big Ten out of the time zone, which USC hasn't done that in a while, because you get to play Purdue, the worst team in the Big Ten, and then you come home for another not-so-great team, Big Ten play, Michigan State, potentially be 4-0 going into a really tough road game against Illinois. So I think this is it's a slow build-up for everybody. We're going to get ready. I'm going to get the press box, dust off my binoculars, all the things we normally do, all the content we normally create for it. Like, oh yeah, I used to do this, I used to do that. Okay, we got to do all those things. Broadcasting live pregame. We'll get it all ready. So I think the fans can get ready. We'll get ready. The team will be ready, and then we'll see what happens and talk to you all about it Sunday night on Tanook Hines.
Yes, it should be a fun occasion. I'm looking forward to this game. Like last year, the LSU game, like everyone, you're just thrown right into the fire. I remember the week before that game, Will Campbell was talking a bunch of crap about how they're going to run it down USC's throat, which didn't end up happening. And it was, okay, here we go. This week's a lot of mutual respect. It's just a little bit of a different thing, which makes a lot of sense. I don't, I like going to Vegas, but I don't miss the Las Vegas heat at this time. That's for sure.
That's true. I mean, we end up having to have 2 games in Vegas last year, both against SEC teams, and that was a lot of fun.
Both wins.
Both wins. Yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun. But yes, so it's a thing. We do have a live caller.
Oh, live caller time.
I'm going to pull it up here. Let's see.
Hello, gentlemen. First of all, I just wanted to take a second to tell you how much I appreciate it. I love the show. I'm a huge fan of the show, and I know I'm speaking for all the other people out there. We appreciate all the hard work that you put into this by keeping us informed, and also for giving me some great breakfast ideas with the breakfast burrito with the chopped Trader Joe's hash brown in it. That's it inspired me to create my own sandwich. It's called the Big Ryan. It's like a version of the Egg McMuffin with a Trader Joe's hash brown in the middle of it. But anyway, getting to the depth chart, obviously people make a big deal out of the first depth chart, thinking, oh my God, this is set in stone, and we have this guy. But I just for once, how many years it feels good to have some depth, and there's guys that aren't even listed that could possibly be starting at other universities, but by the end of the year, it's guys to me like Elijah Newby and Kennedy Urlacher. I mean, those guys. I mean, Urlacher to me, he's so instinctive. I mean, the guy, wherever the ball's at, whether it's on the ground or up in the air, he just has that nose for it. And Elijah is just top notch. I mean, when it comes to his talent is off the charts, and there's no holding guys like that back. But all in all, I look forward to a great season. And Kamari Ramsey, this is a time, like I said, it feels great to be able to watch a player like Kamari Ramsey and even Gentry. God willing, knock on wood, he stays healthy. But two guys like that you could be really proud of, and they play at an All-American level, including Makai and Jacoby as well, hopefully. But Kamari's very special. And anyway, guys, listen, I just wanted to chime in and tell you how much I enjoy the show. And fight on. Hopefully you have a great year this year, and I wish you guys nothing but the best.
Thanks so much for the call. What was your name and where are you from, by the way?
I think we lost him, but what a nice call.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
He just he was in and out. So I'm sorry. We have, again, working out the kinks. The volume was just a little low, so I had to increase the volume a little bit. But I think it worked. Did it sound okay afterwards?
Great.
Hopefully it sounded okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and to his point about the defensive depth, I think it's a really good one where you were talking about it earlier, Ryan. The defensive line, yes, that kind of speaks for itself. But at cornerback, there's guys who you could throw in, and I'd feel pretty good about, who are a little lower on the depth chart than in years past. It's kind of if someone goes down, I'm not really sure. At safety, that's another position with depth. The linebacker spot, on paper, I think the depth is pretty good. I want to see how it plays out. But Elijah Newby, I think, is a really, really exciting player. He was a highly ranked recruit. Coming out of high school, he has that great speed. As I said on Instant Analysis, sometimes when guys switch positions, that kind of irks me a little bit, where I'm like, if the staff doesn't know where to put him, I don't know if that's a good thing. But I think with him, it was like at defensive end, he was showing natural linebacker ability, and they said, we got to put him back, and now he's proving that he deserves a spot on the field. So I do think the defense has some really solid depth, which I'm excited about. Which it's funny to think about it, though, because then if you flip it on with the offense, I think the running back room has a lot of depth. And then that's kind of it. I don't think there's really a lot of good depth on the rest of the offensive side. So it's really interesting where you have Lincoln Riley, and we're talking so much about the defense, but that's kind of the reality we're in.
It is kind of funny. Yeah, thanks for the call. I didn't catch his name at the beginning, so my apologies for that. But, yeah, I think we have it set up well now, so I think the volume will be okay. If you have any more calls, you can call in 5124-TUNNEL, and we'd love to get you on the show. But that was a good concise call.
That was a great start to the year. Yeah.
Set his take. So peace out. Didn't even talk to us. He was like, I'm out. Just tell you what I'm thinking. Boom. Thanks. Bye. And we were talking about Trader Joe's on the podcast, the Parasol podcast.
He shouted out a previous episode. It doesn't get much better than that.
No, that's a pretty awesome one. So appreciate that.
We got a lot of questions too.
Oh, we do? Okay,
yeah.
India. Let's jump in.
Our first one from YouTube, Ethan Alexander. Do you think Keyshawn Silver's injuries in the spring is what prevented him from being named the starter? Less participation in practice obviously entered concerns, etc. Less, I think he meant to say.
Yeah, I don't think it helped him.
Yeah, we got to see him less in the spring for sure, and there was a lot of kind of hype coming in. We didn't get to hear much about him.
Yeah, I think the difference is Jade, I don't think, missed any time at all. So that, of course, gives Jade a leg up. And then Silver, even into the fall, was kind of in and out a little bit. So, I definitely do think that played a part. If they were both totally healthy, would the depth chart look different? Who's to say? I also think, too, though, Jade, if Jade wasn't good enough to beat him out, if they had to throw out Silver, they would. But I think they're confident in Jade, so I kind of look at that as a good thing.
Yeah.
We got another one from YouTube, Thack21. Have they named this week's captains yet?
And Thack signed up for VIP membership, so
yes.
Thanks for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thack. No, they will do it. I forget. Did they do it on Friday or Saturday last year? Can I just say I hate the way they're doing it? Just name 4 captains. Why? I don't get.
Were you the one that asked them if they're going to do that again?
No, that was someone else.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I know people say, you're too negative, too negative. But, what's wrong
I'd rather
with just naming the 4 guys?
I'd just rather see the captains, too. But that's just me. I'm more old guy yelling
Who
at
did
clouds,
they get burned by in the past? I don't want to name names, but they must have had a bad experience with some captain.
It happens. When Sam Darnold took over for Max Brown was a captain, and I think.
Yeah, and you know what he did? He was still probably a great teammate and still was a captain.
Yeah,
Maybe he pouted a little bit. I don't know, but if you're a captain, that you lose your job, that stinks. But the honor of being a captain, that matters, and that there's still so much value to being a captain, even if you lose your job. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but
All right. You can
I would do it differently. But to answer Thak's question, I don't think they've named him yet.
It'll be either Friday, like there's some notes that'll come out, but sometimes it's that morning or whatever of the game too.
I'm going to guess Devin Tompkins is one of the 4.
I like that. Yeah.
That's my prediction.
It's a good take. We've got another question from YouTube, Torian Pratt. Do we think this year we will get better calls from Big Ten refs with more games being at home?
Oh, I don't know if it was like specifically bad.
A lot of the bad calls were at home, right? Like
Yeah, I think there was a couple. There were some bad ones.
Minnesota was probably the worst.
Yeah, that was like the one where you're just like, oh.
And then I got yelled at.
Wait, what'd you get yelled at?
Press conference.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one too. I don't know. I'm not.
It's tough to predict.
I'm not sure. Like there's potentially like bias or whatever. I think usually it's more incompetence where if you're trying to be biased, you have to be even better than if you're like a good official. Like if you're trying to influence things, then you have to actually be better than that. And I don't know if officiating is always that way, but
yeah, I mean. A lot of the calls were pretty bad, so I hope it's just I hope it's even. If there's a bad call here, hopefully it evens out. But last year, I definitely get why people are frustrated. It didn't really seem like it evened out.
It didn't seem even last year, yes. But I chalked it up more to incompetence than like bias. But I could be wrong.
We've got another question from Facebook. Feedy Lamas. Can we tell if offense defense will be good by playing Missouri State? Or do we need to wait for Purdue?
No, you can't. And just look at what happened the last couple of years where USC would win these massive blowouts. They kicked the crap out of Stanford 2 years ago. They kicked the crap out of Utah State last year, and then they went on to be disappointing. So it's unfortunate. I think you can learn stuff about individual players here and there, but you really can't have any big takeaways. And I just think that's universally true for every program. It's not just a USC thing. When the opponent doesn't belong in the same field as you, what can you take away about the season?
Yeah, I mean, if there's things that if Jade Maeva throws like 3 picks, then that's
I guess in a bad way maybe.
That's a problem. If the offensive line gets bowled over and stuff like
that's a good point.
You could see some negative things, but even that's not going to tell you like the whole story.
They might.
It could tell you a bunch, but like
I'm not even thinking that's a possibility.
But like last year, like you think beating LSU on a neutral site was going to mean, oh, this team's going to go 10-2 and all that, and obviously that wasn't the case. Teams are very different from
week to week.
The first week. You could look very different 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. But I think it's more just kind of grain of salt. Like, do the eyeball test. Like, oh, that looked pretty good to me. Like, oh, I like the way the defensive line got after and made plays in the backfield. Does that mean they're going to do it against the Big Ten offensive line? Like, maybe not, but I think it could be a positive sign. You're like, all right, it's encouraging, If there's something really negative that happens, then that's sort of like a red flag. Where, like, we were talking about a few years ago was that Nash, or was it Chris Nash, or what was
Nick
it?
Nash
Nick
on
Nash
San Jose State.
Caught 3 touchdown passes against USC. You're like, that's probably not a good thing.
Then the pass defense
in a blowout,
was not good.
No, the pass defense, they got 3 pick sixes, but they allowed 3 touchdowns to a nobody. So was the pick sixes more like anomaly luck things? Yes, it wasn't like. Now that year they did get a lot of turnovers, and turnover luck went their way, but I don't think just that what we saw at San Jose State.
They also fired the defensive coordinator.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can learn some, but
but you can learn bad.
I wouldn't go to Vegas and bet money on what you see.
I think you can learn bad things. So hopefully we don't learn bad things because in the blowouts, like they've had blowouts and they've not been a very good team. So
yeah.
Like if Tanook Hines goes off, I think we can learn stuff about him. But in terms of like, oh, this team's going to the playoff.
Yeah. You see some guys make one-handed catches and stuff like, all right, I mean, that's good. Like, there's things you could take away.
We've got a question from YouTube, Steve L. Since we're talking about starting lineups, who's scheduled to be on with Ryan on the Thursday shows and Sunday shows? A1, is Shoddy going to be back in LA?
Yeah, so Shoddy, I don't think he's back from Michigan State, right? Or I'll check his schedule. He likes coming on when he's in town. And we can rotate and stuff for sure. As of now, it looks like India is probably going to be available most Thursdays, and Riley will be available most Sundays. that could move around a little bit. Whatever, depending on travel, if India comes in on Sunday or if we, whatever it is. And Chris doesn't necessarily like coming in, but he would every once in a while. And then, when Shotgun's in, he likes to come in. So it could be Shotgun and Connor, with India or Riley. It just depends on what that schedule is. So we don't know it for sure, but probably me and Connor most of the time, and then India on Thursdays and Riley on Sundays.
Get used to listening to me. So if you don't like me, I'm sorry.
You just got a shout out though from Brian. We've got props to Connor for doing great work lately.
Oh, thanks, Brian. I
So
appreciate it.
the
Thanks, Brian.
fans,
Yeah, we try.
the fans love you. We've got another question, a couple more, from Bob Springer from Facebook. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in from Facebook. Are we going to see Kobe Pepe at any time this season?
I think so. He's been battling an injury, so that's why he's not on the depth chart. But I can report that he was back at practice, and I don't know for sure if he'll play on Saturday, but I feel pretty confident as long as he's healthy and able to play that he'll be in that mix.
Yeah, it's like another body that has good upside. There's good potential there. So, and we didn't even talk about him. So it shows that the depth is a lot different than it was last year on the defensive line.
And now we got our last question of the night. Any chance we get to see maybe the second string QB?
Okay, if you want to take away from the game, if you don't, that's a very bad sign. If you don't see Husan Longstreet throwing some passes, that's a bad sign. He's the backup. He's going to get in. If he doesn't get in, it's about how early he gets in. Like, if he gets in the third quarter, then okay, that's a good sign. If he doesn't get in until like the last drive of the fourth quarter, that's probably bad.
I think we're going to see Sam Hewitt, too. So not just Husan Longstreet, the second stringer. I think we'll see his backup, too. So I expect to see all three quarterbacks.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. And as far as like redshirting goes, I think these are opportunities you're going to get to have Longstreet come in these early games. I don't think you're like saving him. I think if
he's the backup. If he needs to be the backup and burn the red shirt, he will.
Yeah. But as far as like getting opportunities to play, I think you're going to get him opportunities early in the season because he is the backup. You're not saving it for anything. And when you get in the Big Ten play, probably won't be as many blowouts. And if he's already played 3 or 4 games, and what you got in him, maybe he's not going to play if there's a blowout later in the season or something. But I think early on he'll be the guy coming in. And if they're up by enough, then you'll get Sam Hewitt too.
That's kind of how I see it shaking out. Remember against San Jose State way back when we saw Malachi Nelson. I don't think we ever saw who's the backup who transferred to Montana. He did the one running play against Notre Dame, but we didn't see the third string last year.
Yeah.
The blonde-haired
Jake Jensen?
Yes,
Jake
Jensen.
Jensen,
Thank you, India.
You're welcome.
We saw him for one play in a competitive game, but we didn't see him in the blowout. I think if there is a blowout tomorrow or Saturday, then we will see Sam Hewitt.
Speaking of Malachi, he's starting for UTEP,
Yes,
I believe.
he is.
Yeah. So wish him luck, the former 5-star. That didn't last very long at USC, but we'll see.
Or Boise State.
Yeah, he didn't get that job, and Boise State ended up having a really good year. Like if he could have got that job, it would have probably, if he would have won that job, Boise State was really good that year. So
We got a couple more, actually, 2 more last-minute questions. We've got from YouTube, Fact21 question: who are your picks for first touchdown score?
Ooh,
I like this.
Great question.
I think
Give me Wayman Jordan.
I had Woody last year. Was it right? I think I got it last year.
I don't remember the first touchdown, but if it was Woody,
You're gonna go Wayman?
that
Yeah.
sounds right.
I'll go.
It was LSU. Who the heck scored first in that game? Was it Woody?
I think it or Miller.
Someone in the chat will bail us
Yeah,
out.
who scored first? I think it was Woody, if I'm not mistaken. I'll go with Jacoby Lane since he had 12 last year. I think they'll try to get him one early. Who do you got, India?
I had Jacoby as well.
Oh,
That was
okay.
my pick. But I guess to switch it up,
You
I'll
don't
go.
have to.
I'll go Lemon.
All right, Lemon. We got Lemon Lane and
Waymo.
Waymo. I like Waymo. I mean, it's probably. I think there'll be a running kind of situation there. We'll see, but it could be a breakaway touchdown.
Could be Maava.
Yeah, he could take it in himself. I had the the thumbnail I guess I used for this YouTube video was him scoring against, I think it was Utah State last year.
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah. So he got into that one and got to rush in and score a touchdown. So that was a cool one. James agrees with me. He says Lane early. I like it. Oh, Woody Marks did score first last year. Shotgun.
Right.
Shotgun's watching. Oh, Shotgun, put in the chat when you're coming, which games you're coming to. 'Cause he's probably told me it. I don't remember, but and I think Shotgun does want to do these shows, so we can vote one of us off the island and Shotgun can join. That's cool.
He did the Penn State show last year, I remember.
I think so.
Gave
Yeah.
me a break because I had a wedding. No weddings during the season for me. During games, I have 2 during the bye weeks in October. If you can believe that.
Pretty nice. Yeah.
Crazy.
And like Jack used to not do the Sunday shows when he traveled. And congratulations to Jack too. He's going to be one of the
Yeah, I meant to bring that up on Wednesday.
one of the guest 49ers radio announcers. So
Incredible.
Yeah, he's doing minor league baseball and just crushing it. He's been great. He was with us for 3 years and really proud of him. Won the Jim Nance award for like the top. What was it?
Top collegiate broadcaster.
Yeah. So
Can't do any better than that.
no, that's the biggest award you can get as a college student being a broadcaster, and now his beloved 49ers. He's going to be able to do some games
Amazing.
for them. So shout out to Jack. He did a great job sitting in the chair India's in right now. So you got big shoes to fill.
Yes.
In there,
Trying.
and Keeley was great, obviously before him. So like we've been really lucky with some of the talent we've been able to bring
Yeah,
in.
you
so
know how to pick interns.
it's pretty good. So India, you have big.
Shout out, Ryan.
you've
I got
been-
big shoes to fill.
But you've been crushing it though. Like,
Thank you.
Literally, I taught her like how to do this in like 5 minutes, and she's just like
5 minutes,
Thank
2
you.
minutes.
No, I mean we did some stuff earlier. Not just today, like today. Yeah. Today was like me fantasy draft. She comes in to ask questions like I'm talking about my fantasy draft. Just do the show. You're good. We're like, little rust there. Yeah.
We got one more question. This is our last one we'll take. But from Brian, YouTube, do you guys capture the game day pregame festivities for those who aren't aware what the traditional meeting tailgate spots are and player walks, etc.?
Chris does in his ghost notes.
Yeah,
Chris
he'll-
writes about it.
He'll get in there and write about it. So again, if you're not a VIP member, Chris does a really good job with the ghost notes. If you could go to the game, you could be in the locker room, you could like have dinner with Lincoln Riley after the game, and you read Chris's ghost notes, and you're like, you'll learn stuff. Like it's crazy the kind of information he puts in there. If you know what ghost notes are, McKay's Ghost is a longtime poster for USCFootball.com. During the Pete Carroll era, open practices, he used to attend. He was a guest. Everyone could attend, but he was actually like kind of a VIP guy, and would write his notes for practice. Call them ghost notes for McKay's Ghost. And so Dan Weber kept that tradition going, and Chris has kept the tradition going. Those are amazing. Like you got to go read those, and you'll get a lot of feel for what's going on. We'll try to get out there, usually to the House of Victory tailgate for a little bit, but we're in the Coliseum early on. I will broadcast what's going on the field of the Coliseum, so I put it on a YouTube channel for the warm-up, so you can kind of see the guys come out, warming up. I'll usually talk to the camera if Chris is on the field and said, hey, player X is not dressed, let you guys know, and sometimes we're watching for injuries and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff we'll put up. I mean, game day we have it totally covered, but the ghost notes and then you can watch the pregame video I put up is a lot of the stuff we'll get.
Amazing. Blackie Chan pointed out in the chat, we got to do our score predictions.
Oh yes.
Ooh.
So we're roping India in. So we had, I think 8 of us were doing it last year, and I think Shotgun won.
He did win.
He won it last year as far as picking games against the spread. So score predictions, we'll do that on the show, but we'll actually compare it to the spread and stuff too. So we keep track every week. I do all the Big Ten games for the Podcast of Champions, plug there, and I think I beat David Woods like 7 of 8 years or something like that. He only wants to talk about the 1 year, like 2 years ago that he won, but we actually do pretty well picking the Big Ten games. I was not good picking USC last year, but Big Ten against the spread, I was really good. For whatever reason, I think I was like a 500 picking USC. The spread is 35.5, so we'll go through our score predictions if you want to start, India.
I said that we would be under the spread. I don't think we're going to win by 35, but we will definitely secure the win. And my final score prediction is 42-14 Trojans.
Okay. I like that.
To me, I think they will cover. I picked 49-7, and you'll have to look at the website tomorrow or whenever you post the predictions for my rationale. I'll do a little tease to get you.
Oh,
to
I
go
like
to the
that.
Website. 49-7, that was my score.
Yeah, I took USC. I mean, I took Missouri State plus the 35.5. I haven't really thought about a score deal, but I think it could be more of like a 45-10 kind of thing. Which is a pretty big blowout, but still isn't covering the spread. That would be like a 0.5 one. That would be just the little hook there. But I feel like USC is going to do a little of experimenting with the depth chart and come in. And, you know, we saw Jade Mayava score and stuff last year in sort of like the blowout game. And, you know, you might see Longstreet come in and do the same, and maybe they put up a bunch of points. But I feel like there's going to be playing around a little bit on the offensive line. I think they're going to play around a little. So maybe it's more of like housekeeping, sort of trying to get things ready, not necessarily focus on scoring as many points as you possibly can. And that's why, you know, covering a big spread like that in the opener, I think is a little less unlikely. USC could win 60-0, and it's like complete blowout city. But I think it'll be a little bit closer than that. Not a close win, but a blowout that's not quite 35.5 point blowout.
I just am happy that, like, if I picked Missouri State to cover and then USC killed them, I'd be so mad at myself. I'm happy to if it goes the other way, it's like, okay, like I think USC is going to go out and kick the crap out of them, and if they don't, it's like, well, okay, I was wrong and it's a little closer, but I'm just really confident that they will, and if I'm wrong and it goes the other way, I'll be surprised. But I don't want to be wrong and have USC kick the crap out of it, and everyone's like, oh, what are you talking about? So
yeah.
I think they'll win big. I'll be pretty surprised if they don't. But hey, maybe that's the famous jinx that I do sometimes. So
yeah.
We'll see.
Steve L in the comments was like, under the spread, it's cover, don't cover. Okay, look. Full disclosure, like, India was not really aware of point spreads until like right before the show.
An hour ago.
So we're
India's
give
responsible.
her a little break here. She's not a big sports gambler. She's a former athlete.
It was when I'll add this to, oh my God, every March we had a talk from compliance. Don't gamble.
Yeah.
Families can't gamble. All that. So it's been ingrained in my mind for the past 6 years. So
Yeah.
I'm new to the spread game.
And maybe some people don't know, but like India's helped us with some of the other podcasts, but this is really her first like kind of real tunnel vision show. But former USC women's basketball player, and she worked for the team last year and started interning with us like a month or two ago. So former athlete at USC and not allowed to gamble. So we'll teach her the intricacies of point spreads and things like that.
I'm excited to learn.
Yes, but India and I are on the same page. We'll see. So she thought it would be within. I kind of thought no way India would be like, oh no, they'll win by 100. But she's thinking strategically there. So she'll be in our groups. We'll have actually 9 people picking against the spread. We'll see who wins this one. It's the submissions I've got so far has been pretty split, like kind of like we are in this room. It's just a big spread, and I've seen some games in the Big Ten this morning. Nebraska's currently covering against Cincinnati, but.
Rayola just threw a bad pick.
Oh, he did? Rutgers didn't cover against Ohio. So who knows? There's some big spreads out there, too, with some of the better teams. So we'll see which teams cover. But should be an awesome weekend of college football. Of course, you get to see your beloved Trojans playing, but so many good games, too. 3 top 10 matchups. I think it's the first time in a really long time that's happened in an opening weekend. Ohio State and Texas. Rematch from the playoffs, defending national champion, one of the favorites in the Big Ten. USC doesn't play Ohio State this year, but that's going to be an awesome. I love that one's on it. I know the Ohio State fans hate that it's big noon kickoff, but for us, we get to actually watch that game at home before we go into the Coliseum, so that'll be kind of cool because we're there like 4 hours early, whatever. But that'll be a lot of fun. But I'm looking forward to this weekend. Looking forward to working with India this season. Looking forward to working with you again, Connor.
Thank you, Ryan.
And everyone out there. We're looking forward to having you share your Thursday nights and Sunday nights and, during the day, during the games over at uscfootball.com with all of you. So, good stuff.
Yeah.
Jordan Flint said, Ryan, have you done a prediction? Yeah, I just did. I did that earlier. So maybe he's a little he's a little
He's just
delayed.
now tuning in.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap things up. You want to close us out? I'll let India close us out because she's our host here.
Well, thank you guys for joining us again on this Thursday. We'll be back next Thursday talking all about our big Trojan win this coming Saturday. So everybody tune in. USC home opener on Saturday versus Missouri State. Let's get it.